we have something of a noisy engine. I think it's the water pump, so we're going to try replacing that now. Okay, so in a previous video we heard the noise from the water pump. We heard it without the belt on, so fairly certain that is the issue. And just over here, arrived today, here we go, we have a new water pump with a gasket, so we're going to install that now. And hopefully that will sort out our issues. We're going to try filming on a time lapse and see if you can see the work going on. Okay, so I'm not doing very well with the time lapse and videoing the work. So we're taking off the alternator first. Okay, so we can see here. This should now let us get at these bolts to get at the water. We've already drained it, as you can see below, and hopefully I'll have shown from the time lapse. So we're going to do that next. I think I'm going to try to give it a bit of a clean first, just to make sure I don't get dirt into in the water system. Okay, we're taking it off. We meant to take the pulley off and then take the water pump off, but I can't get these bolts loose. I only managed to get one loose, and I'm very worried about stripping the head, rounding it off. So, and of course, you know, it's so close you can't actually get anything, a ratchet on there, and so that's proving tough. So I've got it clamped now in here, so it won't turn, and I'm going to have another go with it in here to get those off. Otherwise I'll be buying a new pulley as well. No, I simply can't budge them. I've got one loose and the others just won't move. So I've spayed them, as you can see, on the inside. I've spayed them on the outside. I'm going to leave them to soak for a bit and see if that sorts it out. In the meantime, over at the engine, so if we look at that, the fluid doesn't look too bad. Clean this up a bit. I can clean up what's on the outside here. Try to pick off this white stuff. I think since we've opened this up, we might as well, you know, do things like, well, we could take this bracket off and paint it up so that it's nice and clean. This one probably gets a bit warm because it's against the engine. I haven't got any VHT paint at the moment, but I could order some and get some of that in. Because whilst the rest of it's off, we might as well do that at the same time. So we'll start cleaning up the brackets whilst I'm leaving that to soak. Okay, so while I'm letting the bolts soak in that WD-40 penetrating oil, I thought I'd clean up a bit. So this is the alternator bracket, which we've cleaned up. We're going to paint that in a silver, and then we're working around the alternator as well at the moment, so a bit nervous about how far to go, but you can see this bit here, which I haven't done at all yet, compared to, say, this bit, which I have. I don't think I'll go much beyond this because I'm worried about other damage. As I go around, I've discovered, look, we've got a crack here where it's broken. I think I saw another one somewhere else, maybe just there, but so I'm a little bit worried about damaging it further. So I'm just going to, for now, clean it up as I've shown, not much beyond that, and we'll think about if we go further at another time. But this will do for just now, and I'm going to try to take this off as well and paint this up black. So that's cleaned off a bit. I can't shift this bolt here. Let's try to take this off and paint it. That's a 22mm. There appears to be something on the inside there that you possibly could get some sort of spanner on, but I don't have anything big enough or thin enough to get in there. So I don't know how that's meant to come off. I might have a little read about that and see, because I think overall this might take a while. This, I mean, these are just in here on this water pump. These are just solid. I don't know how I'm going to get that off at all. So that could be a little while yet. And we might be ordering housing and more bolts. We'll see. So with that in mind, we'll take a quick look at the engine. Let's get some light in here. So I need to clean off around here still. Maybe even, no, it's not cracked. So I need to clean off a bit around here. Certainly get rid of any gasket that's there. And I might take this off to just clean these bits up as well. This is where the alternator mounting goes for adjustment. So we might clean that up since we've cleaned up the rest of the alternator. And we're about to paint it, so the bracket. So yeah, maybe we'll go and do that. Now. So I managed to get the fourth bolt out from behind the pulley. I achieved that because I managed to get a second one loose. So that's progress. But the other two, I don't know. So I think we'll stop for tonight. We'll put a bit more WD-40 on those other two. Hope we can get somewhere tomorrow. Even if we do, I don't think I can use them again. I think those heads are too rounded. So I'll have to order some new. Which is a bit of a pain. But yeah, so that's all we're going to do. And we will spray, we'll give a coat of spray to the bracket, which I haven't done yet, just before we stop for the night. So we ended up cutting it off. You can see the bolts in here, I just couldn't get them to move, so cut them off. So we now have, that looks okay. I took a little bit off here, but I think that'll be okay. And we've got our pulley here. So we're going to clean this up, and we're going to paint it. We have got some bolts on order, new ones, and nuts rather than bolts, to replace this, and hopefully that will be good. And if that's not solved it, then we're going to have to find something else. But we're going to wire brush these now and then hopefully get them painted. Okay, so those two bits have been cleaned, and I couldn't quite get all the rust off, and I didn't want to use anything too heavy on it. So I've put Hammerite on initially, and effectively I'm going to use the Hammerite as an undercoat because it can be direct to rust. And then I'll do a couple of coats of an industrial black paint. I think this is what I have in black, which it says it's an industrial paint. I don't know. Anyway, that's the silver one, and that's had done a couple of coats on the bracket there. So the bracket will look a bit nicer. All of that looks a bit nicer. And if I can work out how to get this off, and I think the solution might be put it back on the car, put it in gear, and then have a go at it, because I think that would hold it in place for me. I can't think of another way, and if I can't think of another way, it's going to have to stay on there. But if I can do that, then I will get it back on. When I put it all back on the car, I'll try that, and if I can then take it off and clean it up a bit more, because it would be nice to clean up this surface a bit more. Because you can see how it's come out the best, and we'll go from there. The other bits, remember I said there was a couple of bits broken on here, so that was one. The other bit I realise is a bit of the metal that's here. So, I guess this will go at some point, but let's make the most of it whilst we can. And I don't know if I can take a wire brush to these coils and clean that up as well. I haven't dared yet. I'll have a little read and see. So my new bolts arrived. I've painted it up. I've refitted. So we're going to put the alternator on. We then need to add in coolant, and then we'll see if that's got rid of the noise. But I think initial signs are good, because I've got no back and play there any longer. So initially it looks like this was the issue, and we might have a solution. We can also see that it's cleaned up the engine a bit by dealing with those bits, so all looks nicer. Well, there we have it. The engine is still warming up, so revving a bit higher, but that's a much better sound, isn't it? So yeah, pretty pleased with that. High rod is an issue last time, but seems to be sorted on the noise at least, so that's good. Move on to something else next.